everybody, and welcome to Eeks and Geeks.
Hello.
Yeah.
I'm Pumpkin.
I'm Kirsten.
I'm Lauren.
And I'm Siberia.
Wow, we nailed it.
That was a slay.
Good for us. That was smooth.
I feel like for not ever having an order, the fact that we are kind of getting it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what's crazy is y'all went left to right down the screen for me.
Oh, fun.
Y'all went in a nice little L shape for me.
Actually, it went like a Z for me.
Okay. Well,
Oh, did it actually?
That's enough letters, okay?
It did. I'm at the bottom of the alphabet.
So, how's
You're the
everybody been?
bottom?
Shut the fuck up. This is Pride Month. You can't be homophobic.
Oh, is it the first 5 minutes you can't say fuck and shit?
I think it's 15
It's like
seconds.
it's like 15
Oh,
seconds.
then
Make
fuck
money.
One day
we
we
will.
will. Also, you can't really tell it's Pride Month how everybody's ignoring it.
Wait, what?
I was just talking about earlier how everybody's ignoring that it's Pride Month. None of everybody, none of the corporations have their rainbows.
Oh, sure. I was not
Except
me.
for Cracker Barrel.
Yeah,
weirdly enough.
Out of nowhere.
We stand Cracker Barrel.
I
do.
I'm not gonna say stan.
Yeah, you're not gonna rope me into being a Cracker Barrel.
I applaud Cracker Barrel
like
this
Cracker
one
Barrel.
I
time.
love Cracker Barrel.
Speaking of, wait, did I tell you guys what I saw at the antique store when I went with Epi and Kate?
I don't think so.
No.
There was this old ass belt buckle, a bronze belt buckle with the Ritz cracker logo.
And you didn't fucking
buy it?
I thought about it, but I was like, what am I gonna do with a Ritz cracker belt
If you had
buckle?
texted me and said that was there, I'd have been like, get me that right now. Are you
That's
kidding? Oh my god, I
hilarious.
could be wearing a Ritz belt buckle?
Yeah, are you kidding me? That's
I'll go
a
back.
dream.
I'll
It
go back
doesn't
to
need
Fayetteville,
a purpose.
Georgia, and get it.
Yeah.
You better.
It's probably
Send me
gone.
the name of the
That's
store.
gold.
I don't remember the name of the store.
I'm gonna
Well,
call
don't
them up
tell.
and be like, do you have it still?
All antique stores have the weirdest names. They're like sparkly finds and doodads, and you're like, okay, or they're
Or
just
it's
like
the crunkled haggis.
Aunt Cassie's closet, and you're like, okay, whoever that is.
Hey, Cassie.
Show us your wares.
Has anybody watched anything spooky?
Yes.
Oh, Siberia.
Well, it's not really spooky. It was just stupid. I watched Fall.
Oh,
Mm.
I love
Like
that movie.
it's like us. The whole time, I was like, my legs are numb. I can't watch this. I hate this movie. I hate this movie. I hate this movie. It was so
Listen,
stressful the whole time.
If liking Fall is a crime, lock me up.
Oh, bitch, I loved every
Going
second.
to jail.
But it's bad.
Right, yeah. But it's fun bad.
Because just their motivation, why? Why are you doing it? Why? There's no reason you should be doing this.
Apparently, there's a twist, and it got spoiled for me, and I was like, "Damn it!"
I haven't seen it yet, but
there is a twist, and it's crazy.
It's a good twist because there's
it is a good twist.
bad
I was
horror
gagged.
movies,
Mhm.
But then when something's fun bad, it's okay, we're leaning into it. I don't
It's
care.
also when am I ever gonna watch a movie about this ever again?
It's literally my fear.
This is so specific and stupid. I love it.
Mhm. Yeah.
And the fact that it's kind of made well is a slay.
Yeah. I watched. It's not a horror movie, but it was horrific. I watched All Quiet on the Western Front, which is a horror movie.
I've never heard of it.
It was a last year sort of Oscar nominated.
Yeah, it was.
Sort of one.
It's 3.5 hours long.
It was
Some hoity-toity shit.
It was not hoity-toity. It was just a
Oh.
World War One war movie, but it was it was a brutal one. It was very gory and it was very awful to watch. But it was it was a really good movie, but it was
What was that?
I'm not a war movie girl.
I love war movies.
What was that one war movie that was all done in one shot?
1917.
Yeah.
That one, I was like, I normally don't like war movies, but
I
that
wanna
one,
see
I
that
was like,
Yeah, that was a really good one.
I see you.
Is it still could I watch it at home and like it? Because I heard that was one you have to see in theaters.
Oh yeah, we watched it at home. It was still great.
I haven't watched any movies. I've just watched Mrs. Maisel, Jujutsu Kaisen, and My Hero.
How are you liking
show
I'm
Jujutsu
on my-
Kaisen? That's horror adjacent.
It kind of is.
I'm technically watching Glee, which I feel like is horror as well.
Shut the fuck up. The only thing I've watched recently, I just went and saw Across the Spider-Verse today, which was 10 out of 10. So fucking good. And I was simping the whole fucking time for Miguel. He's so hot.
I've seen the edits.
I have too.
I'm gonna see it.
Yeah. Okay.
She's frothing.
Oh. Do you guys want to do fun facts or final thoughts first?
What do you think?
Fun facts.
Okay. I only have 3 because IMDb is down today. So that's just my luck.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I was like, oh, cool. As I'm trying to make the episode. Thanks. Thank you. Thanks. Okay. So, wait, I should say what we watched. I'm dumb.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
nobody knows why we're even here today.
We're just rambling. We're here because we all watched my pick for the mindfuck category, Smile. Oh, is that a smiling sound?
Yeah, I was trying to like give the listener something because I was
doing
the smile.
That sounds like an angry chihuahua when you're like.
It sounds like that Munty Cash on TikTok, the dog, where she's like Sunday morning, Sunday tanning.
Lauren's like frozen right now, and it's scary.
No, I wasn't.
I was like, "This is funny," and then like you weren't moving, and I was like, "Ooh."
I should have got like my brother or someone to just like pop up with like a smile on his face right behind me. That would have been good.
And then I would have been like, well, she's fucked, but I'm fine. I'll just turn my camera off.
That sucks for you, bitch. Okay, so
I just simply won't see.
Oh fuck! I didn't type up a summary of what Smile is about. Hold on, guys. Hold on. Okay, and the summary for Smile, if you haven't seen it or you need a refresher, after witnessing a bizarre traumatic incident involving a patient, Dr. Rose Cotter starts experiencing frightening occurrences that she can't explain. As an overwhelming terror begins to take over her life, Rose must confront her troubling past in order to survive and escape her horrifying new reality. So, here are my 3 fun facts.
Hit us.
The film was originally supposed to be streaming only on Paramount Plus, but it did better with test audiences than originally expected, so they decided to give it a theatrical release, which is great. Yeah, I don't have Paramount Plus, so I would have never seen it.
Oh, yeah.
I have it.
And it was really scary to watch in theaters.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was.
Its working title was There's Something Wrong with Rose, which isn't, that's not that bad. But I feel
it's
like
a bit of a mouthful.
Yeah, I feel like horror movies are always like one word.
It's way too similar.
Insidious, malignant.
Yeah.
Help me out.
The Conjuring.
Thank you.
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
It's way too similar to like what's wrong with Baby what's that song? What's Wrong with Baby Jane? Yeah.
I don't know.
That's a horror movie.
Oh,
I've never heard of it. Okay. And last one, a couple of days before its release, actors from the film showed up at various baseball games, sitting behind home plate, dead still and smiling while staring into the camera, unmoving, despite fans in the audience being understandably concerned while wearing Smile shirts. I feel
Which is iconic marketing.
It's so iconic, yeah.
Like, so good.
Do I remember seeing that on TikTok?
I think I remember hearing about it.
Yeah, it was going around.
Yeah, I think I did, but I don't know that I ever made the connection that it was the same movie I went and saw in theaters. Because
well, what's funny about the marketing for this movie is from the marketing, I thought this was going to be like a really stupid horror movie.
It could have been so easily just like a shit ass movie.
Because I was like, it looked like that. Like, remember that Truth or Dare movie that was like full on like a C horror movie?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Like, it felt like that. From like the marketing and stuff, and I was like, I don't know.
I literally got Truth or Dare vibes from it because the Truth or Dare monster like smiles like that.
Smiles.
Yeah.
The first like teaser trailer or whatever it was we saw for Smile, I was like, ooh, this looks good. And then they put out the full trailer, and I was like, And I think it was I like paid full price to go see Barbarian like Friday or Saturday. And then the next Tuesday, it was only $6. And I was like, no, I'll go see Smile. I'll just go check it out, see if it's shit or not. And I was like so surprised that it was good.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Joe and I, this, like, we don't go to the movie theater very often, but we did a double feature, and we did Barbarian and Smile in one day. I'm like, what an iconic
crazy day.
I know, we were like, really good movies.
A day full of really large women.
Yes, I had that thought rewatching it. I was like, she's giving mama.
And then if you're talking to me, even more.
Some big ladies.
You want a big lady? Hey.
Not me. I'll point at you.
Big.
I'm here for all your big lady needs.
So let's get into our final thoughts on Smile. Let's have Kirsten go first.
Okay, so I had the same thoughts. Like when I first saw the trailer, I was like, this is probably stupid, because it reminded me so much of Truth or Dare, because the Truth or Dare monster does that like same smile, and I was like, God, this is giving Truth or Dare. So like I was expecting dumb when I went in to watch it, and but you all had watched it before me. And then I was like, okay, I'll go watch it, I guess. And then I went by myself, and I left just like a shell of a human. Because I've said this before, but I've like suffered severe depression. So like there's scenes that I was just like,
Oh yeah.
The second time watching it, it wasn't as traumatizing as it was the first time. I think because like seeing all that on the big screen, I really love I'm pretty sure I read that like when the face opens, that's all like practical effects. Yeah.
For real?
So I think I remember reading that. Yeah. And I was like, that's so sick. I love practical effects. I'm such a sucker for practical effects. Yeah, I love this movie. I give it 9.5 out of 10.
Wow.
Nice. Wow.
That's way up there.
Okay, let's have Lauren go next.
Okay. Well, as I said, I have seen this once before, so I was a little bit worried watching it at home, not having like the big theater experience, and like a lot of times when you know when the scares are, it can be like a little bit more lackluster. But I almost had the opposite feeling where watching it again, it was like I knew where the scares were, but I was so scared of them the first time that it was like I know it's coming, and it's even scarier the second time. Something about the jump scares in this movie almost feels like a rejuvenation of like the jump scare era of horror movies, like when that was like all horror movies were. And something about this movie, they are just all so effective for me. Like I was literally like ing watching this again. Yeah, I think it's a really creative story. Again, what was the last movie we watched?
Night House.
Yeah, Night House. How we were saying, like, there's just really been anything like that, and I feel like Smile is kind of the same way. It's just like a super unique story to tell, and I would give it a 8.5.
Okay.
Yeah.
8.5. Okay. Siberia.
I like literally was like pissing my pants scared watching this in the theater. Like it's so effective in giving you that feeling of just like the pit in your gut for like the whole thing. Like you're never like, oh, we have one of those scenes where we can like kind of like chill out. Like sometimes horror movies, you're like, okay, nothing's happening.
Like we're safe in the day kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
There's never any of that here. You're just like, what's gonna happen?
You're always looking in the background, like who's in the background.
You're like very cautiously curious, which I think is a good place to keep your audience.
Yeah.
Being like, I'm afraid, but I don't know more. Like I think this movie does a really good job of keeping information from you just enough and just long enough. That yes, it's a long movie, but it doesn't feel that long because the pacing is done very well. That's one thing. I love the pacing, the cinematography.
Oh, so good.
Oh, so good. Like all of the wide shots, like the nature shots, the drone shots are so good. And like they give you such like the feeling of unease, which I love. Like the whole ambiance of the movie is very cohesive, which I appreciate. I think Smile is like a top tier horror movie. I'm gonna give it an 8.5 as well.
Nice.
What's the runtime on it? I didn't feel like it was that long.
It's an hour 55, which is I feel like pretty long for.
Yeah, 2 hours is.
I know.
Yeah, I wouldn't have guessed that. It doesn't feel that long.
Yeah, I was actually saying this to Siberia earlier that I because like when you see it in theaters, obviously you have no like sense of time. So watching it at home, I noticed that like the fake out ending is at about where most horror movies would end. It's like at 140 minutes. And so I think that helps make it feel like, okay, yeah, this is about the end of the movie. That like feels about right. So that like twist, I don't know about anybody else, but that like got me. I was like,
that did me too.
Yeah.
The first time I
she's
saw
still
it,
at the house.
the first time I saw it, I was disappointed in the ending. I was like, she just
Really?
like kills her and leaves.
She beats it too easy. Yeah.
Oh,
Like I was like, what the fuck? And then I was like, oh, thank God.
When she goes to his house and it's like him, and you're just like,
Yeah.
But it is so good because her beating it like the first time is so like not satisfying.
No,
So
it's not. So yeah.
she's still there and it gets hers. Like, okay, nice.
And then it manifested as him. And now he has it.
Yeah.
The first time I saw it, I walked out of the theater like, oh my God, 10 out of 10. That was so perfect. And on a rewatch, like I still love it. It's still really good. I give it a 9 out of 10. But there was like some stuff that like when you're not, I feel like it's easier to be kind of like gagged and spooked in a theater because like it's just such a big screen. And I saw it all alone. I was the only person in that whole damn theater, which was very scary.
That's horrifying.
I would piss and shit all
I
over
saw
the
it
theater.
on like a Tuesday morning at like 10 a.m. And so
the theater workers were probably like,
girl.
But yeah, so it was definitely a lot less scary on like a second watch. And I did notice like a lot of people's reviews online, they were saying that it was like kind of like too similar to other horror movies. And I get what they mean because like there are some similarities to like The Ring or It Follows. But I feel like Smile took that trope and just did it better.
Yeah, like they turned it up a notch.
Yes.
Yeah. And so but the one thing I didn't like when I saw it in theaters, and I still didn't care for it this watch, was the mom monster's face.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of dumb. Maybe it was because I just saw Barbarian, so I just saw like an actually very scary large woman. So this I was kind of like, that just looks like some dude's face.
She kind of looks like Bill Skarsgård.
Yeah, that's kind of why I knocked it like a 0.5 because it does give very like Goosebumps vibes. Like,
yeah, I mean,
until the face comes off and it's the mouth.
Yeah,
That's horrifying.
Yeah, I do like that part. Like, I like that part. But yeah, like the Goosebumps.
Yeah. So I give it a 9 out of 10. I still really like it, but I will say like a second watch at home, you're kind of like, okay, yeah, I see some of what people are talking about. I still get why it gets like a 71 or something on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
See, this is the exact kind of movie that like horror dude bros are like, it's not even scary. You were fucking scared by that stupid movie. It's not even scary. It's like, would you shut the fuck up? It's like the second there's like intentional scares in a movie, that's when all the people who are like, scary movies don't even scare me, like those people come out of the woodwork.
Yeah.
Like, okay, good
also,
for you for not being scared. Like, why go see it then?
I feel like Smile really plays on the thing that scares me, which is like you hear a noise in your house or you think you saw something and you're like, did I imagine that? Or was like it, I love that, like being just scared of your own fucking house.
Yeah.
You know,
I am very particularly scared. I'm not like by myself in my house very often, but like whenever I am, I'm so scared to be in my house alone. And like the back of our house has like a lot of windows and stuff, and we have a yard, and I get so paranoid that like someone's outside, like
just gonna be standing there staring at you.
And so that like, so that feeling, there's parts of this movie where she's in her house and she's just like, you know, you hear something and you're just like, you're just like waiting and it's dark and you're just like, what was that? And in your mind, you know, your mind plays tricks on you and it runs, but then there actually is something.
I think one of the most effective scares in the movie is when she's in the kitchen and it's just the girl from earlier standing in the shadows.
There. Fuck that.
Okay, wait, this is a fun one to do since there's so many good jump scares. Okay, that's your favorite jump scare in the movie.
I think so. That
Mine-
one or the one where he knocks on the car window and he switches to the dead guy for like a second.
Wait, who?
Or no, the audio clip too. The audio sound
it's
bite.
the audio one
yeah.
for me where she's like leaning in because there's one time where you do hear it. You hear like in the background, and she keeps going back, and when it zooms back and there's like actually someone that just screams it in her ear. Woo!
I had a heart attack in the theater.
I did
was
too.
like, fuck you, movie.
Mine changed on second watch because like the first time I watched it, that scared the living shit out of me, like the person like in the kitchen. And then for some reason the first time I watched it, I didn't jump as much. But the second time I watched it, I guess because I knew where like you said, you knew where the scares were, so you were anticipating it. It made you scared more. And the rose with the voice recording got me. I was like on my couch, just like it's coming, it's coming.
And also just the whole scene of her laying in bed and that doorway.
That's
is
what
like
I was
dark.
gonna say. That was the part that scared me the most in theaters and on the second watch. It's just her sitting there in bed. Come here. I was like,
the fact that she turns her back to
that
I would leave the room.
Dark is like, how can you turn your back to it? It's so scary.
That is like my worst fear, to just like hear a voice coming from my dark closet.
Yeah.
It's making me want to like put my feet up.
I'm starting to get like, I keep looking around my room.
No, I'm like suddenly I'm looking in my closet like
I literally have a hallway like down to my kitchen, and there's a back door out that leads, and I'm like, ooh.
You know what, also speaking of this like type of thing, you know what freaks me out is those doppelganger TikToks, that trend of just yourself smiling.
Yeah. Or they're just like the jaws like really wide open.
Yeah, it's just open. Like that is my worst. Then I'm gonna like look over to my closet and I'll be standing there like smiling at myself.
Did you see the one that I sent you that Curtis Connor did? I thought his was gonna be funny, and it was he just did the trend, and I was like,
"Hi, Curtis, I wanted a joke."
I got gooped, Curtis.
Are we ready to get into the plot?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. I think I have 6 chapters.
If we ever have like legit merch, we should have a shirt that says "Get into the plot."
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, duh.
It's the obvious merch choice for us.
Chapter 1. At a psych ward, therapist Dr. Rose Cotter meets with a grad student named Laura, who explains that she'd witnessed her professor die by suicide a few days earlier, and that an entity that only she can see has been terrorizing her. Laura says the entity takes the form of people she knows with an awful smile, and that the entity has told her that she is going to die. Soon after, Laura stumbles to the floor and begins screaming. After Rose calls for help, she turns to see Laura standing up and smiling. With a shard of broken pottery, Laura kills herself by slitting her throat. At home, Rose sees the image of Laura standing in her kitchen, but the hallucination disappears when her fiancé Trevor comes home.
You mean the A-Train?
The A-Train.
But my God, it is A-Train. I knew he looked familiar.
So much more attractive as Trevor than A-Train.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's
because
suit.
A-Train's a douchebag.
That's
Jesse
true,
T.
but
Usher, though.
I think it's also the suit.
Yeah. He's very handsome.
Yeah,
fish.
when she said fiance, I was like, "Oh, you're not married yet? Not yet?
Oh, so he's available.
So technically.
So what you're saying is there's a chance.
I have a chance.
So you're saying there's a chance.
A very, I don't know if it's a niche fear, but something that has always scared me in movies, and I think it specifically happens to women in movies a lot, is something is happening to them and everyone in their life is saying or like telling them that they're crazy.
Yeah.
And I've always had this fear of like, what if something started happening to you? Like, what if some crazy shit was happening to you and you were just like trying to tell all these people you trust, like, I know this sounds insane, but like there's legitimately like something happening to me, and everyone just like didn't, like, nobody believed you. Like
everyone's like, okay, basket case.
Like, or that'll happen in movies and stuff, and like older movies, and people will be like, women will be sent to like mental hospitals and stuff because women are crazy. It's like, I have such a fear of that. And this
I
whole
promise
movie
I'll
is...
believe you guys if you
I know,
tell me
I
something
always-
crazy's happening.
I'll always look at Joe and be like, you would believe me, right? Like,
I honestly would, just because like the sudden change in personality, it's like there has to be something.
like I'd be
there.
like, this is different.
Like I'd be a
Yes.
little skeptical, but I would hear you out.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's such an interesting thing in this too, is like the first girl that kills herself is like, she's like, I'm a PhD student, like I'm not like some basket case, you know. And it's like you sort of start to understand what's going on, because it's like, okay, well, we didn't know the first girl, but like she doesn't seem like someone that would be crazy. And then like you definitely see our main character, and it's like, well, she's a very put together person. So if I saw someone in my life that was like that, and all of a sudden they were just like freaking out, yeah, you'd be like, okay, I think something's actually very much happening.
Her, it's kind of like, I could see why people, just because her mom had that like.
Also, they said she works
like,
80 hours a week.
Yeah, girl.
Insane.
I would be like, hey, maybe you need a nap, bestie. Maybe a nap.
Yeah,
I don't know about
what's
curses.
is they give her
die.
time off, but it's all occupied by that stupid demon.
Yeah.
Can't even enjoy your staycation. I was also gonna say, we were talking earlier about how good the pacing is, and I think what helps with that is that the exposition is so good.
Yes,
Like they don't ever give you like this really long, boring like exposition of what's going on. I feel like the conversations and the way things unfold feel very natural, and it just like keeps the movie rolling at a good pace, but also keeps you kind of like, okay, I think I know what's going on.
And it's believable.
Yeah, it's not just like your two main characters like sitting and like one person is just like saying the whole plot of what's happening. It's like a much more believable setting where she's like, she's a therapist and this is someone who's having an episode, so it's like she's just saying what's going on, but it is also like telling the audience what's happening.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I like how a lot of these like scares can be really believable. Like there's been times when I'll be sitting there and I'll look and I'm like, do I see something? Like when she's staring in the cabinet and then like something happens and it startles her, because I've done that before, where you're just like staring and you're like, huh?
As somebody who's had sleep paralysis, that fucking Laura just standing there in her kitchen.
Because
I could not imagine having sleep paralysis. I don't think I would handle it very
hallucinating
well.
that there's just someone standing there staring at you.
That's terrifying.
Bone chilling.
I just want to be loved.
The Hat Man just wants a friend.
Yeah, you know, the Hat Man needs a confidant too.
I am someone that luckily like sleeps through the night almost every night, but like sometimes I'll wake up in the middle of the night for whatever reason, and always my first thought is like, I'm scared to like open my eyes in the room. Yeah, because it's just like, what if what if I saw something?
I don't think, if I wake up in the middle and I'm like, I'm pissed, bitch.
This motherfucker scares me all the time. My mannequin, my dress form thing, fuck her.
And I get that, because weirdly enough, whenever I wake up in the middle of the night, it's always witching hour. It's always 3:30. Like I'll wake up and I look over at my phone and I'm like, oh, it's 3:30, and I roll my like pull my covers over my head because I'm like, nope. Go back to sleep.
I hate when I wasn't thinking about it and I'm just like laying all comfy cozy in bed or whatever, and suddenly my brain is like, what if there's a monster at the foot of your bed? And I'm like, toes under the blanket.
That happens all the time. Where you're like, but what if someone just scurried from the darkness towards you right now?
What if there was a man standing in your closet? You're like, fuck you, brain.
Fuck you. Tony Collette
is he
from
gay
Hereditary
too?
was like,
yeah, Tony Collette's in the corner
on the ceiling.
Oh, that part made Bella cry.
Oh, she told me that. Well, when I was little, because I used to be scared shitless of the girl from like The Grudge. So like, there's times that I'll be in bed and I'm like, what if the Grudge girl's just like at the foot of my bed?
But that's why this jump scare scared me so much, because it's just her standing in the kitchen like silent.
Yeah. And she like stares at her like, am I actually really seeing this? Like she's not even really like that scared. She doesn't jump when she sees Laura. She just kind of like stares at her like, am I crazy or is this bitch standing in my kitchen.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What the
that's
fuck is
why-
happening?
Yeah, that's why that scare is so believable, because it's like I've done that before.
That's
so
how,
it's like,
when you like think you see something in your room in the dark, you just kind of like stare at it. You're like,
yeah, you're like,
Well,
am I
that's
crazy?
why the night house was scary too, because it was like, is that the silhouette of a person? Oh, it moved. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's moving.
Are we ready for part 2?
Yeah, beach.
Okay. The next day, Rose encounters the manic patient Carl, smiling and shouting that she is going to die. Rose calls for nurses to restrain him, only to see that he has been asleep the whole time. Concerned for Rose's mental well-being, her supervisor gives her a week off. On the way home, Rose stops at a hobby store to buy her nephew a model train for his birthday. That night, the house alarm goes off, the back door is left open, and Rose's cat Mustache mysteriously disappears. Rose's hallucinations only continue to get worse, as she thinks she hears whispering when listening to the recording of her session with Laura.
She heard something.
Yeah. Okay, what set off the house alarm? Because that actually
That
really
scared
went
the
off.
fuck out of me.
that.
The
Yeah,
it's
first
like-
chirp when it goes off.
Oh, it's so loud. Yeah.
Like, did it open the door, or did she open the door and she doesn't remember doing it because she was hallucinating that
I
she was
feel like
wrapping
it's
the
all
gift?
like her doing,
Yeah.
but not remembering.
Like, I
Uh-huh.
think she killed Mustache.
Oh,
but she
for
doesn't,
sure.
Definitely.
She
Yeah.
doesn't remember doing it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she definitely did.
I hate
this,
that.
The scare, that's like another fear of mine that I have. I think it started whenever I watched like Final Destination 2, the like turn around thing or whatever. Like
Oh.
you're listening to
Oh,
me,
the
it's
phone
like, it's
when
like,
it's
yeah,
like, look behind you. I'm
yeah,
like,
it's like,
no.
look behind you. Literally, it's giving me cold chills thinking about it. My ass would be like, I'm
Are you
gonna.
alone in the house? Yeah. Are you sure?
Fuck you. I hate that.
I think this is also an interesting like monster, whatever you want to call it, because it genuinely does, like, she sees things that 100% are not happening.
Yeah.
So like we were sort of talking about this in the
Yeah.
last one, like she's a very unreliable narrator.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it's like all we know is what we're seeing from
Yeah.
her, but like
Yeah.
half of what she is seeing is not even happening. So
Yeah.
and we're not seeing a lot of things
It's
that are happening.
fabricated. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Oh, I feel so bad for Carl. She like has the fucking SWAT team attack him. This dude's just been sleeping.
Yeah.
Villain.
Poor guy.
You're gonna die.
Yeah.
You're gonna die.
I loved his act. That's another. I love the acting
Yeah.
in this. I don't think
I-
there was a single
This whole movie
person,
is great.
Love the acting. Oh, the acting is so
Mhm.
good.
because everybody that smiles at her, like they do such a scary.
The bitch at the
fucking
birthday
smile.
party is so scary.
Fuck her.
And it's like they coordinated their smiles because it's all the same.
Mhm.
Like it all looks exactly the same. Oh, it's so good.
I would say the
Especially-
only one that looks different to me is the therapist.
That's
when
what I was
she's
gonna
in the house.
say.
Okay, yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, the therapist, her smile, I almost felt like,
Hers
because
is
that's,
cynical.
yeah, I feel like that was the one where like the entity is getting like closer to being able to kill her or whatever. And
Yeah.
so the
Her acting
smile.
was crazy.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll get to her. Like, I think that's one of the best scares in the movie too, is the therapist fake out.
Yeah.
Because
when
she
she
picks up the
smiles.
phone and you're like,
Oh my god.
Oh,
all of this, like it's like in your head stuff literally scares me. That stuff where it's like on the phone, like turn around and like the thing you said, like, oh, are you sure you're in the house by yourself? And it's just like
Can you imagine calling like 911 or the police or whatever? And they're like, are you alone in the house? And you're like, yeah. And they're like, are you sure? I would jump off
she's
the
a
roof
runner,
of my
she's
house.
a track star.
like, I'm actually going to be the one that leaves the house now.
Yeah, bye.
Actually,
Someone
there's
else is gonna be in the house by
fucking
themselves.
no one in this house, bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like there's like this fear that like you might be crazy
Mhm.
or you might be imagining things. I hate that.
Yeah. Yeah, like what if you're actually going crazy and you don't know because you're going crazy?
Yeah, there's movies like you watch it and the whole time you're on this person's side, and at the very end you find out, nope, they're insane. Oh,
Yeah.
that's terrifying.
Yeah, like Shutter Island kind of
Yeah.
that sort
Well,
of twist.
Yeah.
And I remember reading it was like a blog post or somebody. I was in high school, so I was on Tumblr all the time. And some girl had written, she had like a really bad trip. I don't remember if it was like acid or what it was.
Mm-hmm.
She had like a really bad trip, and she explained what she was experiencing. And the whole time it was like euphoric. Like she literally thought she like met God and she was being given like a mission or whatever. And she like woke up in the hospital and she had like skinned her own arms.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I know that that's because she was on drugs, but there are people who don't even take drugs and have.
She was trying to reach martyrdom.
Please.
But I was like, can you imagine like realizing nothing that you thought was happening was real and you're just fucking crazy?
Yeah.
No.
I hate that. I hate it.
I'd rather just know I'm fucking crazy.
Sorry, I don't understand.
Me either, girl.
I don't
Same.
either.
Why? Siri is so annoying.
Yeah,
I
it's like
didn't
the two opposites. It's like not something's actually happening to you and everyone says that you're crazy is terrifying, and like going crazy and not knowing it and everyone's like, she's going crazy. And you're like, no,
And
I'm
you're like,
not.
no, I swear.
Yeah. But then you're like, I'm not crazy. And everyone's like, oh.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
That sounds
So,
scary.
Not being able to just like trust your own brain. Terrifying. Hate that.
Yeah, losing
Which-
chunks of time.
That's even like I think about those times like when I would go on those like bingers and like get blackout drunk and you wake up the next day and you're like, that's not me.
Mhm.
Yeah. Which I think this movie is like really good about. I saw some like reviews like criticizing it for like being about trauma and depression, whatever, but I was like, I think it did it in a very good way.
I did too.
I
Yeah,
think so.
same.
Yeah, I thought it was in like a very smart, because that was another thing I was gonna say. There's like, I didn't really notice it the first time I watched it, but on the second time I noticed like, so after Laura kills herself, the detectives are like, was she a nutcase or was she a
Mhm.
head case?
Oh,
Mhm.
that bothered me so much.
Yeah, they're like, was she crazy? And Rose is like, I mean, this
No,
is a
I don't know."
psych ward, but
Yeah.
I don't call people crazy. And
Yeah.
then
Right.
like, her sister Holly says something later. She's like, you got to get out of that hospital away from all those like fucking crazies or whatever
Uh-huh.
she calls them.
Yeah.
And it's like everyone around Rose is just like crazy people, and she's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
the only person who's like mental health is like serious.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And of course, she's the one who has to go through all
Yeah.
this shit.
Yeah.
Ah.
The part where her fiance like throws it in her face, where
Ugh.
he's like, yeah, well, it's genetic, isn't it? And it's like, ooh.
Oh,
ooh.
Oh, and
fuck you, dude.
Her sister, the same. I think that's actually the next section, but like her sister's like, you're acting just like mom did.
You're just like
Mhm.
mom.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's such a slap in the face.
But then it's also like, you have to think like, just like mom?
yeah, right. I had the same thought. I was like, did she see it? But she overdosed. So.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I
Although-
had the same thought in it. I was like, I wonder if she saw
Yeah. I hate it. Okay.
it.
We ready for the next section?
Yeah.
Rose visits her former therapist, Dr. Northcott, who suggests that her problems stem from her abusive and mentally ill mother who died from an overdose, which she had witnessed as a child. Later, Rose attends her nephew's birthday party. When her nephew opens his gift, the model train has been replaced by the dead body of Mustache. This leads to a public breakdown in which Rose sees one of the party guests smiling at her, and she trips back into a glass table, cutting her arms.
It's such a nightmare.
The incident convinces Rose that she has fallen victim to a curse. However, when Rose tries to tell her fiance Trevor, he believes that she's crazy.
So when this scene came on, because you see her like kind of throughout try to find Mustache, and as soon
Mhm.
as like this is from your aunt, as soon as he was opening it, I was like, the cat's
Yep.
in there, the cat's in there, the cat's in there, the cat's in there, and I was right, and I was like, no.
Well,
It's so awful.
it's just. Oh, what was I gonna say? Fuck. I had it.
See,
Someone else go.
The first time I saw it in theaters, I didn't immediately think it was going to be Mustache, because like I had just assumed Mustache got out because like we saw the back door open and she like
Mhm.
calls out to him, whatever, and then it just kind of cuts to the birthday thing. And I didn't really kind of connect the two. So when he was like opening it, I was like, oh no, what is it gonna be? When he pulled out mustache, I was like, no.
I knew that was gonna be. It was like
And
it's the cat.
what I was gonna say, I think, is I sent Pumpkin an audio message while I was watching the movie today, and I was like, this scene is just like 10 out of 10 nightmare scenario. Like, this just goes wrong in every possible way because, like, she's expecting a good response. He's expecting a good present. He opens it. She doesn't know what it is. He's like, what the fuck? She pulls it out, and she's like, huh?
Yeah,
So
now
you're
not
watching,
only is
you're
her
having to
cat
watch
dead,
him be traumatized and her be traumatized by the death of her cat in the same moment.
Yeah.
And all the party guests are like, what the fuck? And she's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like,
It's
it's
so
almost not
bad.
even just like the cat thing is horrible, but then it's just the whole scene spirals
It gets
where
worse.
she's just like,
Mhm.
she's holding her cat and she's like, I don't know, it wasn't me. And everyone's looking at her like, you crazy fucking bitch. She falls into the table. Now her arms are all bloody and it's just like, oh my God.
The acting,
a
It's
nightmare.
like, the acting in
so
this
bad.
is so good because she falls and then you just see it reminds me a lot of like Train to Busan when it just like hits him all of a sudden. Like she's sitting there and then she just like starts sobbing. Like it's so the acting is so good. Yeah. That whole scene, it's like cringe.
It's
cringe.
like the
So
fastest
traumatizing.
snowball of things just getting worse.
It's awful.
And then to go home and then like that's the part where her fiance is like, you're crazy genetically. She's like, oh
she's
my
like,
fucking
no.
God.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, you can't blame him. He's like, did you kill Mustache? Like, did you kill our cat? Like, I would obviously assume that she's had like she's like snapped and she killed our pet. Like, I would be pissed. I'd be like, the fuck is wrong with you?
I guess it's just like the like empath in me, but like I just feel like they're the fiancés, they had to been together for so long. He turns on her so quick.
He
like
does.
it's
Well,
like
so does her sister.
Yeah, they all
her
turn on her
sister's a bitch.
so quick. Cause even like when she goes to Joel, he's skeptical, but he still like listens to her, like and lets her like it's like nobody's like listening to her.
But then he like does research and like saves the day.
Yeah.
Well,
as much as
well,
not really.
He tries.
Yeah. At least he knows it all, so he can maybe go forth and beat it.
I just
maybe
Jesse T. Usher could have done more.
Yeah, he really does turn on her so quickly. It's like, because I think of my relationship with Joe, and if I was like telling him all of these things, like if I was like, it wasn't me, like I don't know what's going on, but like I didn't do that. And if he was just like, are you fucking crazy? I'd be like, you know me, like you've known me for so long. Like, yeah, how can you think that I would do that?
Yeah,
but it's unfortunate because she did do it.
I'm sorry, but if I were him, I would be like scared of her.
Yeah,
if I really thought
I'd be scared. I would take her somewhere.
Because the bad thing is like she did just witness something really horrifying and traumatic. She witnessed one of her patients like slice her own face and neck open. So to be like, yeah, she's like snapped. She's had like a mental break. It's not that unbelievable. And so if I really thought she had just killed our cat, I'd be like, hey, let's maybe not sleep in the same bed because I might not wake up tomorrow. I'm like kind of scared of you.
Oh, you just feel so bad for her because like
I know it's kind of
you know something's actually wrong.
Yeah,
it's so similar to like Barbarian when Tess is trying to get the cops and it's like, I know I look crazy right now, but you have to believe me. And the cops are like, okay, crazy crackhead lady, we're not gonna break into some random person's house because you think there's a monster in there. It's just like, you feel so bad for them, but it's like they look insane. Like if you were in the other person's shoes, you'd probably also be like, okay, honey, babe. Yeah, you're cursed. Okay, I'm gonna sleep on the couch and I'm gonna hide the knives.
And like there's this part where she's sitting in the car and she just looks, because we've seen her at the beginning of the movie and she's very like put together and like, you know, she's just got a very put together look, and she's in the car and she just looks haggard.
Yeah.
She
Crazy.
looks so crazy. It's like, oh my gosh, she has been through it like quick.
That was a fun, I'm sure it was intentional. But maybe it wasn't. But the lighting when she's in the car with Trevor and she's like trying to convince him that she's cursed. And it's like the way the light's hitting him, he looks like normal and nice and pretty, whatever, because it's coming from the house this way. And the way it's hitting her, she just looks like her face is more shadowed and she looks kind of like haggard and scary.
Sinister.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so he's like, so
I also like her like slow descent in her face, like you can see her get like more worn down.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's quick. Like, the 4 days that she's dealing with this is like, woo.
Well, and I really felt for her when she's in the hospital and the doctor's talking to her about her bandaged arms and she sees Holly coming up to like yell at Trevor and Rose just kind of like deflates and she's like, oh, fuck. Like now I have the two closest people to me are like, this bitch is crazy.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like,
Yeah, what do you do?
Worst case scenario.
Yeah. Her sister's a bitch.
The worst.
But we'll get to it when we get to it. Okay, are we ready for chapter 4?
Let's go.
Let's
Okay.
go.
Upon learning that Laura's professor was grinning at her before his death, Rose visits his widow. Rose learns that the professor had also witnessed the suicide shortly before his own. She asks her ex-boyfriend Joel, a police detective, to go through old police records. They find several cases of people having died by suicide in front of someone else, all of whom had recently witnessed a suicide themselves. Returning home, Rose finds that Trevor has called Dr. Northcott over without asking her. Feeling betrayed, Rose chastises Trevor and storms out. She then goes to her sister's house to try and patch things up, but when she tries to convince Holly that she's been cursed, Holly compares her behavior to that of their deceased mom.
Ugh.
It just keeps getting worse for you.
with the
She really
therapist
gets
too, like her just like instantly getting angry.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
like,
Because
he's trying to help.
Yeah, he's like,
Yeah.
I don't know what to do. I'm gonna get your therapist to come over. Maybe the two of us could talk to you, figure out what's going on. But like from her point of view, it's like, I'm being cursed. I'm gonna die soon. I don't fucking need this
Like,
Yeah.
listen to me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like,
Stupid
ugh.
conversation.
It's like frustrating on both sides.
Yeah. I think
Um,
during this scene where they're doing like the research and she's sort of like figuring out what's going on, I was having this thought of just how interesting this idea is of like, if you see someone commit suicide, it passes on to you and it just kind of is like this infinite loop. Because you
Mhm.
always hear like, the phrase like hurt people.
Yeah.
And it just
Yeah.
takes that idea and like, thinking about how grief and trauma grow, and if you're someone dealing with that, you often project it and it affects the people around you. And so
Yeah.
it's just like such an interesting concept to have it be like a physical manifestation
Mhm.
like that is actually like being passed to people. And it's very like It Follows in that sense of,
yeah.
you can't, and
But done
which
better.
made me- yeah. Which made me think, okay, did you have thoughts during the movie of how you would try to beat it?
Yeah.
Yes.
No, I would be like, I'm just gonna end it.
That Like, we'll get into it more later when she goes and talks to the guy that did beat it.
Uh-huh.
But
Yeah.
at that point, I was theorizing. I was like, okay, I know what I would do.
Hmm.
But I would definitely just off myself where I knew
Yeah.
no one could see it. But I feel like this entity would trick you and you would think there's no one around or whatever. Or you
That's the
like,
tricky part
you
of it.
thought you had a gun and then it's like a fucking thing of silly string or
Right.
whatever. Or like you thought you were like alone in the woods, but you're actually standing on like a crowded street
Yeah,
in
like,
the city.
It wouldn't
Oh, yeah.
let you
Yeah.
do like whatever plan you had.
Yeah.
I just
Like
think it's-
my thing is like I would almost try to like do it in front of like a political person I hate.
Oh my gosh. Slay.
Like Marjorie Taylor Greene. Like, hey bitch, look at me.
Do you think it would
Try and
pass?
at least do it for good.
Yeah.
That's
Do
true.
they explain what happens if multiple people.
That's what I was
witness it?
also. That's what I was thinking. Like, if you did it just like in a crowded city street where there's
But
like 50 people looking at you, like,
Do they all have it?
I feel like
Yeah,
it would
like,
pass
what
to everyone.
happens?
Yeah.
Which would be crazy.
yeah, that'd be a bad thing.
Yeah, we need to see that movie, and it's called Smiles.
Miles.
Oh, like there's a big event happen, and you just see like all of these people
Yep.
leave. That'd be crazy.
It's the apocalypse. at
Sequel
that
idea,
point.
trademarking it.
Okay, yeah, Blumhouse, reach out.
Smile. If you use that idea, we'll know. it's
We'll know.
copyright infringement.
Yeah, right there.
There was one thing I don't think upon a rewatch, I was like, that's really weird. When they showed the title card and it like flashed and made that weird noise,
Mhm.
that was a strange choice. What
Yeah,
was that?
I thought it was
I think
cool.
it's just kind of like throwing it back to like.
It was jarring.
I thought it was like, it was very cool and jarring. It felt like something from like a slasher film
Mhm.
Yeah.
from like the 90s or whatever. But just in this movie, I think the first time I watched it, I was like, okay. And then this time I was like, this is so
You're like,
weird. Why'd they
"Damn,
do that?
okay."
Okay, you're just
I-
really loud for some reason.
I have a note that I just realized something. This was like when she was getting ready to go to the party. And she's like, this is such just like a me ick. She's putting on concealer and she like rubs it, and I went, "Ugh."
I put on my
Yeah, she's like,
concealer with my fingers.
No, I put it on with my fingers, but she goes, rub.
She like smears it.
Rubs
Yeah.
it.
And I'm
yeah,
like,
no.
"Ugh," right this, "Ugh."
Always dab, mama.
Yeah,
Hello.
that's dab.
Yeah, she's like smearing it across her eyes.
Yeah,
I was
like,
also she thinks she's
Football thing.
cursed, right? I would think this is like a demon, and I would be like, she's trying to get to the bottom of where this came from. I'd be like, exorcist, near me. Like, I would not like think I need to be all like, detective, where did this come from? I'd be like,
right.
who could
See,
stop
I don't
this?
know.
Can I
don't know
get
if it
like
would
a
give demon for
priest?
me.
or you could go to like a shaman. Like,
Yeah, like somebody, is there like a witch doctor who maybe has like some herbs he could put on my head or something?
Wait.
Like,
Witch doctor?
witch?
Yeah, which one?
Wait, which
Stupid.
doctor?
I
So
was
stupid.
a witch doctor.
Who was in love with me?
Yeah, she was like going and like doing all this detective work, and I was like, I would be looking for someone to help me. The moment I found out everybody else has only lasted like 4 days, I'd be like, okay, exorcist near me,
Yeah.
church near me,
Mm-mm.
And a
Ab-
church. You gotta go to like a temple.
yeah, especially
abandoned
'cause she's like-
abandoned cliff near me. I don't like.
She's like, it's my 4th day. And I was like, Mama.
That's not so good.
Oh no.
Oh, one thing I noticed this time too. So like, she's like looking at all the evidence of like other people that have killed themselves before her. And one of them, she had like, it seemed like she had gouged her own eyes out.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like,
Ugh.
was that to like stop
Not be able to
seeing
see.
yeah, because she's like sick of seeing the people smiling. I just noticed that on a second watch. I was like,
Because it is suicide every time.
Yeah.
did you gouge your own eyes out, girl?
The guy who garden clippered himself
Oh,
in the
God.
tape was pretty brutal.
Also,
And her being like, rewind. And he's like, really?
are you
He's like,
sure?
for real?
Also, Rose, I get that you're looking for evidence, but printing out pictures of people that have
Girl.
killed themselves is not going to convince your sister that you're not crazy.
She's like shoving them in her
Not
sister's
great.
face. Her
She's
sister's
like, look at these. And she's like, no.
no.
She's like, girl, what's wrong with you?
yeah, I was like, this isn't really helping your case, babes.
No.
And this is when I started to question, like, even the first time I saw it, when she was like, you're acting just like mom. And I was like,
Mhm.
okay, it is hereditary. Like, Tony
Well,
Collette's about to show up.
It made
A
me think.
movie called Hereditary. That'd be good.
Yeah. It made me question. That's what made me like. I wonder if it can be seen by multiple people, and like her mom was just one of them, and it's not
Mhm.
just like this one linear cycle.
Oh, that was another thing. So this is like the part where we have the Holly jump scare, like her head like snaps
Yeah.
upside down.
Yeah.
I hate that they put that in the trailer.
I do
Me too.
Yeah.
I
It
never
was-
saw the trailer, so that part scared the shit out of me.
Yeah, it's in the
Lucky.
trailer.
That's
Yeah.
like, I think that's one of the strongest scares, but because I had
Mhm.
already seen it in the trailer, as soon as her sister comes back out and starts walking down, I was like, oh, this is that part from the trailer.
Yeah,
This
Yep.
is why I
agree.
don't ever
Yeah.
watch horror movie trailers.
Because like, yeah, I bet Lauren, it was probably like, oh, what does this bitch have to say now?
Shit my pants at that part
Yeah.
in the trailer when her head swings down. Oh my god. That was like one of the most effective jump scares for me.
Yeah, the only effective trailers has been Barbarian because like you literally get nothing from it. Yeah, this one,
Yeah.
that jump scare, like if it wasn't in the trailer, that would probably be my
Oh.
number one jump scare.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
it was
Because-
such a good one.
Yeah, but because I'd seen that so much in trailers, I'm like, okay, I know what's coming.
Yeah, you won't catch me watching a horror movie trailer.
And then also, this part made me laugh. I know it shouldn't, but after that happened, and she's like screaming and like slamming in the car, and it just cuts to the kid, just like,
Just being
He's
like,
like, the fuck is going on?
"My
he's like
just
that
so-
monkey meme that's like,
You know that little kid getting
The puppet.
soda that's like,
Oh, this kid's so traumatized just for no reason.
he's like, I had to pick up a dead cat on my birthday.
Yeah, I love that he sees it and he's like, and they're all like, what is it? Take it out. Pick up your
He's
present.
like,
He's like,
"Okay."
if you really want me to.
Oh, poor kid. He just wanted to train.
But could you imagine if like you're like about to give your nephew like a gift and he pulls out your dead cat?
You would freak out.
Traumatizing for everybody.
Everyone.
Ever.
Yeah. Oh.
Man. But we were you were saying that Holly's like a bitch and she's an asshole.
Mhm.
But honestly, because she says, so they're talking about like their mom and Rose's job. And Rose says something about like, oh, at least I actually care about people instead of living in my little like bubble or
PTA,
something.
yeah, my like
Yeah.
PTA housewife ass shit.
Yeah.
But I was like thinking about it and I was like, from Holly's point of view, like she's worked to get this nice life and a husband and a kid. And it's like, she doesn't have to like worry about that kind of shit. She just has to worry about like her and herself and like taking care of her kid and her house and everything. Like, and like, I know we put a lot of emphasis on like mental health and everything, but it is kind of a like, okay, other people's problems don't have to be my problem.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I kind of was like, I don't really like Holly definitely. Well, I don't think that she needed to be nicer.
It wouldn't be a crime if Holly just like wasn't a bitch to her sister.
Yeah, but also I was like, you gave my child your dead cat for his birthday.
I guess,
Aurora.
yeah,
I think-
taking that
yeah.
into consideration.
Like
Yeah.
from Holly's point of view, she's like, I just want to have a nice life.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to have a good life and I want to give my kid a good
And
life.
I would like
I don't
for you
wanna-
to be a part of it if you aren't acting crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you weren't being like a psycho, if you would just quit this fucking job of yours.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's more of like, I think her husband's a dick. I don't.
Her
think
husband's so annoying.
Yeah, I
So
don't-
annoying.
I don't think
you're
she's a
gonna
bitch.
talk to me like that. You're
Oh,
really
God,
gonna
he's
talk
such a
to me
dick.
Like
Yeah.
that.
God, her
when
husband is
when
such a
she's trying to
bitch.
like throw the party and he's trying to like walk out like eating the food and she's like, go put it back.
Yeah.
I was like, that's I would snap. I'd be like, listen, bitch, I worked so fucking hard on those fucking sandwiches.
I swear to God.
Are we ready for the next chapter?
yeah.
Okay.
Slay.
When Joel discovers that nearly all the witnesses died within a week of seeing the previous suicide, he starts to believe that Rose is indeed cursed. The only exception was Robert Talley, who instead murdered someone else. Rose and Joel visit him in jail, where he claims that the entity feeds on trauma, and the only way to escape it is to kill someone in front of a witness to traumatize them. Rose rejects this option and leaves. She is confronted at home by the entity in Dr. Northcott's form, where it gleefully warns her that she is running out of time. She drives to the hospital with a knife and hallucinates killing Carl in front of Dr. Morgan. When Rose wakes up in her car, Dr. Morgan is outside and notices her with the knife. She speeds away, prompting him to alert the police.
This is like the craziest section of the movie.
It's so crazy.
Is it explained? Okay, so he kills someone to get rid of it.
Yes.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
who does it pass to? Who did it
The
pass
person
to?
Whoever
who saw
witnesses
it.
the killing.
Oh, okay. So someone saw him kill that
Yes.
person? Oh,
Yeah.
oh, okay,
And
okay.
they got the curse, and he was
Yeah.
like,
Okay.
which
Him being like, you have it?
Oh,
Get
he
the
was
fuck
so
away
he was
from
like,
me.
why would you bring that here?
Yeah,
He was so
Yeah.
fucking scared.
which I think I would like consider that possibility, but I know I would never actually be able to go through with it.
It's just that's
Yeah.
not a life because you got caught. You're in jail now. Like
That's
Unless
a-
you could like sneaky kill someone with no one seeing. Do you think if no one saw it, it wouldn't work?
I don't think it
No,
would
I
work.
don't think
It wouldn't work,
yeah.
but I was like, maybe if you had like a mask and you like ran away right after, so they got it, but like if they called the police, like they didn't see your face, they don't know
Yeah.
it was
True.
you.
If it was like
Mhm.
sneaky, if you were like in the middle of nowhere with two people and you killed one of them and it passed the other one and you like didn't know either of them and you just
Never showed your face.
But I feel
that'd
like
be tricky.
I would, because I mean, Rose seems to kind of like think about it. Like she grabs the knife and she thinks about going to the hospital to do it.
Oh yeah.
But I
And
don't
that scene is crazy on the first watch.
I just
I
thought,
would
yeah.
be able to do it. Yeah, this is the part
Yeah.
where hallucinations stop being like, because all
Obvious.
her previous ones like last maybe like a minute each or
Yeah.
whatever. This she hallucinates an entire. This is like
A
having those.
montage.
This is like having those dreams that you got up and got ready for school and went to school and then like woke up and you're like, I have to do all that shit again. None of that
but
I
happened.
did
when-
it all night.
That jump scare in the car when the doctor turns into bloody, like,
Oh,
is it
uh-huh.
Howard? Is that his name?
I know what you're
Yeah.
talking about. Yeah.
Him, and like that's one of the most effective jump scares for me.
Mhm.
Did we skip the part where the therapist shows up at her house?
It's in
No,
there.
That's in this
that's in
section.
the
Oh, it's in
section.
this section. Okay.
Oh, I love
Um,
that whole scene.
It's my favorite
so
part, I think, when
good.
she
Yeah.
starts smiling.
Uh-huh.
The one I don't like this like the echoey demon voice when she's like, it's almost time, Rose. I'm like,
That scared the shit out of me. When
I
she's
didn't
like
like that
crawling
voice.
over the couch and like
Yeah.
she's
Yeah.
backing down the stairs.
the way she and when she like corners
drool.
her and she's like drooling.
Oh, the drool!
Blech!
It's like Alien.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so scary. Oh my god, my mannequin. My mannequin just scared the shit out of me.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
that's
little
the other-
edge here.
that's the other one we were talking about. The scares of like you're like because she's talking and then she picks up the phone and it's her and then in that moment I would just be like
Yeah. That's what she does. She's just like still staring at her, but just like realizing it.
But,
Oh, but-
yeah, that when I saw this in theaters and she picks up the phone and it's a therapist, I was gagged. I was like,
Yes.
what?
Mhm.
What?
Yeah, so she like hallucinates that whole scene and then she hallucinates the whole hospital scene and then it's like we know that and then we still don't, it's still a gag
Like,
when
you
she
don't know
hallucinates the
what's-
whole
Like
Yeah.
scene.
that's when this movie really becomes like a mind fuck, is like you have
Yes.
no idea what's actually happening or
When
what
she's-
she's imagining.
Yeah, when she
Mhm.
starts like stabbing him, I'm like, did she just do that? Like,
Yeah.
and then you see him like laugh, and you're like, okay, no, that's not real.
Yeah.
No, see, when he was
Yeah.
like screaming with her the
Yeah.
first time I saw it in the theaters, I was like, what the
Yeah.
actual
Yeah.
fuck is happening?
Yeah.
It wasn't until the other doctor like tears off his own face that I was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
oh, this is she's hallucinating this
this is
too. Yeah. Which that face tear off, I thought that one didn't look as good as the
That
one
one
we did at
doesn't
the
look
end.
But I
good,
do
yeah.
like it as the preview to like the big face tear off.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I also like because they show that like because she's in the car and she gets that scared and then she like, oh, I gotta be alone, and then he sees the knife in the car and you just see him think, oh god,
Oh boy.
Oh no.
Yeah.
let's get you out of this car. Like
Because he's like very much like fucking stop driving. Like
Yeah.
stop.
you can
She
tell he's,
is
like,
not safe to be on the road
yeah.
in that moment.
Oh, I forgot the scene earlier when she like goes to talk to Holly. She starts the conversation with, my eyes are open now. I have been cursed. I was like, girl, that's not
Girl.
helping your case.
No.
Why'd you say it like that?
She did.
Yeah,
She
you
does, 'cause
feel like
she's like my eyes have been open, and you think that like Holly probably thinks that she's gonna like say something rational, and then she says that, and it's like,
okay.
Great, great girl. Great.
okay, Yep.
Okay. Last chapter. Let's get into it.
Ooh.
This one's a little long. Rose drives to her abandoned family home so that she cannot pass the curse on to another person. She confronts the entity in the form of her mother. It attacks Rose, but she smashes a lamp over its head, setting it on fire. She leaves the house and drives back to Joel's house, asking to stay the night. But Joel starts smiling at her and tells her he'll stay with her forever. Rose awakes from this hallucination outside her family home and sees Joel pulling up. She panics and runs back inside, barricading herself in the house. The entity reveals itself and rips off its skin to reveal its true form. It forces itself inside her body, through her mouth, and merges with her psyche. Joel breaks down the front door only to watch as Rose sets herself on fire with a smile, passing the curse on to him.
Yeah.
I forgot to
Yes.
mention this earlier, but the actor that plays Joel, he's just like Adam Brody, where I've had a crush on him since I was a kid, like watching Haunted Connecticut and then in Jennifer's Body. So when I watched Smile again, I was like, oh look, it's my childhood crush.
He's in a lot of horror movies.
Yeah.
Good for him.
But his acting when he's like, I'll stay with you forever.
And it's not even like, it doesn't even start off like that creepy. It's like he's like, yeah, I'll stay with you. He's like, I'll stay with you forever. Like it like it's such like a like beat, like his beats are just so like,
Yep.
And the whole room gets dark, and you're
Yeah.
just like, oh no.
That
Yeah.
twist in when I saw this in theaters and she runs out the door and she's like outside in the like grass and the trees.
Yeah.
I was gagged. I
Yeah,
was
me
like,
too.
Then because also like he's there, but it's actually him, and she's
Yeah.
afraid of him, so she runs back into the house.
well, she doesn't want him to see it because she
Yeah.
knows she's gonna kill herself. She doesn't know how, but she's like, I'm gonna die and you're gonna get it. I have to
Yeah.
like barricade myself in here.
That shot, that like side profile shot of the thing crawling into her is such an iconic
It's practical
frame.
effects too.
It's so
Yeah.
it looks
It was me,
so
actually.
cool. Oh.
It's
I
actually
crop-
pumpkin.
Yeah.
This
they
throat
hired me.
goat right here.
But I
Broco.
do love they kind of pulled like a Ring where they set up this trope of like you have to face your inner demons and overcome your trauma and whatever, which like we kind of just had that happen for real with the Night House.
She never
Yeah.
She like
sleeps.
faces it and has to overcome it, whatever, and like it's not gone, but she's at least warded it off for now.
Yeah.
And so you think you're getting that, but like with the Ring, they're just like, that's cute, but no.
She never sleeps.
She fucking dead.
I do with a horror movie, I do sort of love like the hopeless ending where it's just
I do
like,
too.
like
Yeah.
no, this thing is just like it's gonna keep doing this
Yeah.
and it's
I
going to
love,
like
like,
destroy so many people.
A
Yeah.
fake out happy ending. I
Mhm.
love it because
I do too.
most horror movies I don't want a happy ending. I'm like, that's
Yeah.
dumb.
Krampus.
I want to be scared. But when they're like happy ending and you're like, oh, okay, and then they're like,
Yeah.
just kidding. You're like, ah,
Get him.
Oh, and also that like scare, like when she opens the door and her mom's like sitting there, I was like,
I was watching it like this.
Yes.
I was the first time I saw that in theaters, I was watching it between my fingers
Yes.
because I thought her mom was gonna like jump up or something.
I
I
thought she
was
was too.
so
Well,
scared.
because that's what they also did really well is they set up a bunch of jump scares in the beginning and then don't use them at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Every
Yeah,
time you
you're like-
thought you were gonna get one, you don't.
You're primed for this moment where she like goes back into this room and is like having this moment, and it's like for the most part that scene where she's in the room with her mom is just like they kind of just have this conversation and it is what it is, and it is until she closes the door and it's reopened that it's like okay now it's happening.
Okay, what the fuck is
Big
that?
Mama's here.
I want to do some kind of research of it because I had an ex-boyfriend that would talk about like I don't know how much I believed into it, but he was like a spiritual person thing, and he talked about like when you're sad or even depressed, like the stronger you are, the more you let in. So like that, that struck me when the mom wakes up and then she was just like, why are you doing this? It's like, because your mind is so inviting. And it like brought me right back to that. And I was like, that's so creepy.
Yeah, your mind is so
Yeah.
inviting was a great line.
I was
And
thinking it was because she's so empathetic and caring. Like she deals with patients because she feels like she needs to help them.
Mhm.
Like she wants to help people and she's so understanding of other people's trauma. And she's like, they're not crazy. Like they've been through something. And it just made it so easy for the trauma to just like latch onto her.
Yeah, I think it's also just because I heard that backstory like with my ex. I was like, it like brought me back to that, and I was like, that's creepy.
I liked, so they kind of reveal what exactly happened to her mom, and her mom had like overdosed and told her to call for help, and she didn't. She like ran away.
Yeah.
And when her mom's like, why didn't you call for help? She was like, I was 10.
Yeah.
I was terrified of you
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you were abusive and I was scared of you. And it's just so like, I feel like that also touched on the type of trauma that comes with like adults expecting you to act like an adult and deal with adult problems. And you're like, I'm a child.
Yeah.
I am a little kid. I shouldn't have to fucking deal with this.
Yeah.
You know? And it's like, you can't hold a 10-year-old accountable for like not calling the police. They're 10.
Yeah. Like a 10-year-old's not going to know what an overdose is. It's like you're not going to know that like whatever's happening is not going to lead to death.
Mom is acting really weird and scary, and you're just like, I don't want to be here anymore. I'm gonna go. And your big sister's left.
Yeah.
You know, the like one person that was there with you and like suffered all the stuff because of your mom with you, like fucking left, and now it's just you and mom.
Yeah.
You know, it's like this isn't my problem. This is a you problem. I'm gonna go.
Oh God, that image of just like him walking in and then like her just like smiling with the
just
like,
I love that it
with
starts
the
with
can
her
over her head.
Oh yeah,
and
you
you're not really sure like what she's doing, and then he like shows a light and you can see that it's like liquid, and you're just like,
oh
no.
I do like when she thinks she set the house on fire or set the monster on fire and she's leaving, she turns back around and this like mob monster is like crawling on the floor towards her and it's like melting.
Yeah,
that looked really good.
Yeah.
That was also practical effects. That was me.
That was me.
That was me. They hired me to bless the fuck out of you, bitch.
I was like,
I really liked this whole movie.
Yeah,
it's a great movie.
When
it has a satisfying ending, which I feel like with a movie like this, it feels primed to be one that's like, oh, this is really good, but God, the ending sucked. But it's like, oh, no, it actually has a really good ending. that's you know.
I do wonder, like, what would have happened if Joel never showed up? Would the entity have maybe convinced her to like leave the house or something?
Probably.
Maybe, just like gotten her somewhere with people.
I feel like this is one you can't, like, there's no tricking it.
I agree. Yeah. I think I felt like the first time that I watched it, I was like, ooh, I would have done this, I would have done this. But upon watching it again, it's like, I agree.
You're kind of just fucked.
Yeah, unless you want to like murder someone.
The fact that you are totally not in control of even like what you're seeing or doing is like, I don't think you can trick it. I think it's gonna not let you even know or like be in your right mind to be able to trick it.
Yeah, which is like, I feel like when you watch horror movies, a lot of us, we always like come up with like I would have done this, I would have done that, whatever. So I feel like it is extra scary to be given this scenario where it's like, well, that doesn't fucking matter because it wouldn't have worked.
Yeah,
you're
like a true, just like, you're fucked if you get this one.
Yeah, because I didn't think about it until we started talking about it. I was like, oh, I would just go off myself, like away from people. But like you said, it's like, who knows if you're by yourself?
Yeah, you don't even know if you're by yourself.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, you could murder someone, but I don't think I want to live like hard enough to go through with something like that.
Yeah,
unless I did like off someone I hated in front of like somebody else that I hated. But even then,
the circumstances to even be able to do it are like not really even attainable.
Like by the time you figured out what you got to do, you've got like one day to get it done.
Right. Yeah.
I can't find Donald Trump and Marjorie Taylor Greene in that time. I don't have time for this. You know,
just barge in the Supreme Court justice like office.
And in her case, she's even lucky that she knows what's going on, because most people that this would happen to, they would just be like, I have no fucking clue what's happening right now.
Yeah, poor
and I wouldn't have
Laura
time to
was
plan it.
like, I'm seeing things. I don't know. Check yourself
She's
into a
like-
psych ward and think they could help you.
Yeah.
I would be like, I'm schizophrenic.
Yeah.
Like,
That's other. I don't think I would even think that I've been cursed. I would think like, fuck,
Oh,
there's
you're
something
crazy.
wrong with me.
yeah,
Yeah.
I would too. I'd be like, I've developed schizophrenia. I'd be Googling, can you develop schizophrenia?
Within
In
2
1
days.
day.
Yeah.
I saw someone kill themselves in front of me. Could that give me schizophrenia? Like, I would honestly never guess that I'd been cursed. I would have been
Yeah.
like, fuck, I'm crazy now.
Yeah.
Damn, this shit sucks.
This movie just like toes the perfect line of like
Yeah.
playing on the perfect fears at every
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really, like we were talking about, like with the trailers, I went into it just kind of like, okay, this is probably gonna be dumb, but like whatever.
Mhm.
And I walked out just like, that was so good.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like it's I feel like it's a sleeper, you
Mhm.
know?
Yeah.
Like you really weren't expecting it to be that good, but it is.
I just love a surprise banger, because I feel
Yeah.
like there are so many bad horror movies,
Yeah.
and there's nothing worse than like something that's been hyped up and you watch it and you're like, that was so bad, I'm pissed.
The
When
witch.
something yeah, when something is like, you don't really have expectations, you like don't really know anything about it, and you go into it and you're like, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I
That's
love
like-
that.
Yeah.
Usually when I see people on like TikTok or whatever being like, it wasn't scary, that was dumb, I'm like, it was probably good then.
It's probably like pretty
Yeah, it's
decent.
probably
because
good.
every time you guys are like, it was so good, I go see it and it sucked. And I'm like,
Sucks,
y'all
yeah.
are dumb.
Yeah, I don't trust TikTok horror reviews.
No. Oh my God. I get those like, there's this one chick that does like, she does like her top 10 lists or whatever, and they're
Mhm.
always dog shit. I'm
I
like,
think I know
Is
who you're
it dark
talking
hair glasses?
Yeah. Does she have glasses?
no, she does have dark hair. She's like an Asian girl.
I don't know if I got her.
No.
I used to get her TikToks, and she'd be like, yeah, these are my top 10 favorite like psychological thrillers or whatever. And you'd be like, number 1. I can't even think of like a stupid psychological thriller.
kinda
but
like
was
the-
like,
Yeah, I kind of like the girl with the glasses because she'll be like, I know this really isn't as disturbing to other people, but it is for me. And like, she'll talk about it like,
that
I think it's just like
one-
when someone's taste does not align with yours, and it's like,
Yeah.
no, okay,
Yeah.
I don't trust
Which
your
is like-
opinion.
I can
Yeah.
understand if we're scared of different things.
yeah,
Like
Mhm.
that's totally understandable. But when you say like a very well made, well acted, well edited, put together movie is like dog shit, I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
then I question.
Yeah, it's like when people say that like they hate or like they think Hereditary is a bad movie. I'm like, be for real.
No.
Yeah,
well, you
be
can say
for
like
Really be
real.
for
I
real.
didn't think it was scary, and that's
Sure.
valid. If you're
That's-
like
I don't-
it
yeah,
didn't
that's
scare me
fine.
at all, I'm like, okay, but if you say it's like bad,
Yeah.
like it was badly made,
Yeah,
I'm like,
I remember when it came out, there was like a whole thing where it's like people were like laughing in the theaters, like they just like thought it was so
No.
bad that it was laughable, and it was like, we didn't watch the same thing.
No,
Like,
no.
I don't know.
I did laugh at Babadook.
I love the Babadook.
I love the Babadook, but the first time I saw it, when he started making like weird noises, I was like,
I need to give the Babadook another chance
I
because
think
I've
I-
only seen it once, and I remember really not liking
I,
it.
I'm the
I
same.
love the Babadook.
I'm the same, Lauren. Everybody talks about. I'm like, maybe I should rewatch
I
Babadook.
know, because
because-
everyone always gasses it up, and I'm like, I remember not liking that movie at all.
Yeah, maybe
I-
I need to.
I was scared of it, and then I was laughing at it, and then I was
Ugh.
scared again, and then I was laughing again, and
He's a gay icon, okay?
I walked away like, what a weird movie. I loved it.
I'll give it. I would be willing to give it another chance, but it's
Yeah,
not
I've been
one I
I've
think
been
I'd
afraid to
follow.
say that I didn't like it because so many people gas it up. So
Mhm.
you gave
Uh-huh.
me the courage to admit that, Lauren.
See, I want
It
to
is-
cosplay like sexy Babadook so bad.
Can we do sexy horror icons?
Can we please?
I'm all ready, bitches. I'm
Okay,
already gonna
fine.
be Beetlejuice.
Can I just design a Bishoujo Babadook?
do it? Yes. I would
Okay.
love that with the top hat and the long ass fingers.
I
The
have
French
had.
ass fingers.
I like commissioned somebody to like draw me as like a pinup Chucky, and I still haven't cosplayed it yet. Yeah,
Oh, do it.
Do
That's
it.
fun.
Do it.
yeah. I have the fabric.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot to say our average score for Smile was an 8.8.
That makes sense.
Nice.
I
Which
really
is
like this movie.
Way higher than Rotten Tomatoes and IMDb and Google and all those.
I know specifically Siberia did not care for Martyrs, but I feel like I really enjoyed all of the picks
I
in
did
this
too.
category. I like really liked all of the movies that we watched.
I did too. I thought it was a great like batch of movies.
Fun section.
What
I
did
think
I give
75%
Martyrs?
is a solid go.
You're
Yeah.
fine.
What did I give Martyrs? Like a 5? I think I was very like middle of the road.
Yeah, you didn't love it either, but
I didn't like hate it or love it. I was like, it could have been really good.
Yeah.
It also like couldn't have been made.
All right.
No,
Anyway.
it was a very original idea. It
That's
was
your
just-
opinion.
The pacing was weird.
That's my
Well, I'm just saying I really enjoyed all of the movies in
I
this
did
block.
too.
I think this was
Yeah,
a
it was
really
great.
Yeah, for the most part, this was
solid
a slay
selection.
little category.
Mindfuck was a good category.
Speaking
So,
of which,
yeah, our next category, we had you guys vote on Instagram.
And you did help us at all.
And you didn't fucking help because it was a
And then
tie.
we didn't help ourselves at all.
Yeah.
And then the 4 of us voted and it was also a
It
tie.
was also a tie.
So then we had our very lovely Fred group vote, and they chose foreign film, which was my
Yay.
pick.
you've been gassing for this one. For
I've
a
been
minute.
wanting foreign film ever since we picked.
Yeah.
What was my original pick?
Wreck.
Wreck?
No, what was my original theme pick?
Oh.
Found footage.
Found footage.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Ever since found footage, I've been like, okay, foreign film,
Because
please, please.
me and Lauren
Please?
were talking about earlier how this is like your zombies
Yeah.
for me.
I was like, I
Oh,
just
listen, I'll be honest, I'm a little nervous for this one because I feel like we've sort of watched a lot of very
Oh,
I've-
popular.
I already
I
know
have
what
for
I'm
this one.
picking.
Yeah,
I
I
have
know what I'm picking.
no idea what I'm going to pick for this
You
one.
better know what you're picking because you're up first.
So
Kirsten.
okay.
Oh,
movie.
I was like, no.
So I had a pick for a while. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna pick this. And then I like remembered another movie and I was like, oh no, I want to see that one too. So I'm gonna decide right now which one. They're both in the
Oh my
high,
God.
They're
A live
both
pick.
they're both in the high 80s.
Flip a
on
coin.
Rotten
Flip a
Tomatoes.
coin. Flip a coin.
I'm just gonna go with my gut. Okay.
Okay.
I have no idea.
I'm
what
nervous. I'm
you're picking
nervous.
for this.
This movie is Hunger Games on crack. It has a 88%.
I want to watch this.
Yeah, it has an 88% from critics and 89% from audience on Rotten Tomatoes, so it's very high. It is a Japanese horror film. It came out in 2000. It is Battle Royale.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
I've never seen this.
I've never even
Okay.
heard of it.
So I watched Battle Royale when I was like 14. So and then I remember
Royale.
watching Hunger Games or reading Hunger Games, and I was like, "This is Battle Royale." Like, yeah.
Well, I'm intrigued. I've never even heard of it, so
Yeah.
that's exciting.
I'll give you.
I knew it was the inspiration for Hunger Games. Like I knew
Yeah.
that like she watched this and was like, okay, slay.
Yeah, I'll give like a little synopsis for people who.
Is that true? Like, has Suzanne Collins said that she like?
Yeah, I like looked it
was
up.
Yeah.
terrified?
Yeah,
Oh shit.
it's also Quentin Tarantino's like favorite film.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Wait, what is it called?
if that tells you how brutal it is, Battle
Battle
Royale.
Royale.
Battle Royale. Okay.
So the synopsis is: could you kill your best friend? In the future, the
Yes.
Japanese government captures a class of 9th grade students and forces them to kill each other under Revolutionary Battle Royale Act.
Interesting.
I'm excited to watch this one.
I'm excited to watch it too.
And for
Yeah.
our listeners, it is available free on Amazon Prime or Tubi, Pluto, Redbox, Vudu, Plex.
I will be
Or you
very
can rent it.
yeah. Do not. I was looking up last night to like see where you can watch it. Do not watch it on like Tubi and Pluto, those
You
places
get
because
ads.
because
Oh.
it only is subbed. Like you can't. I mean,
Oh.
if you want to watch it subbed,
No.
go ahead. But like it's only subbed on there, and I'm like,
You mean
oh,
dubbed?
No, I mean dubbed. Yeah,
Oh,
sorry,
yeah.
it's only dubbed. Yeah, it's only.
I
dubbed on
refuse to
there.
watch
Yeah.
dubbed things. I cannot stand when the mouth movements don't match up with the words. It
Yeah,
drives me bonkers. I
yeah,
hate it.
because I was picking those like free things, and I was like, oh, they're all dubbed.
I don't mind dubbed animated stuff, but I can't
I
watch
can't.
like
Yeah,
dubbed
I
No,
live
not
I
action.
for
can't
It's
do
real
like,
dub live action.
it looks
Yeah,
so bad.
No.
I can't do it with animation either, but that's usually because like the voice actors aren't. Some of them are pretty good, but most of them I'm like, okay, buddy, was that?
Can be a little hit or miss.
Did they
The
just go
My
with
Hero
like the
English
first take?
dub is so good.
I love My Hero English dub.
I've watched all of My Hero in English.
I get clips of My Hero in English on my TikTok, and I'm like, ew, he does not sound like that. Shut the fuck up.
He does though.
He does
I remember Jonah, we accidentally once like went to next episode and it started playing the sub, and it was like we were like, oh, everyone sounds so weird.
No,
just like
I
when you're
love
used to it, it's like
the Japanese voices are just better. The only thing I love that one audio. I don't know if it's on y'all's TikTok page, but it's like a clip from My Hero where Bakugo says something like "eat my smoke" or whatever, and then Midoriya goes, nuh-uh. I love that.
Midoriya.
That's funny.
I love my baby boys.
He's
I
so
love
sweet.
my baby boys.
The Skate the Infinity dub is not that bad, but I still watched it in Japanese. But anyway,
I guess we should also tell listeners, I will be out of the in the seas, so
in the Caribbean,
international
I
waters,
will be
baby.
international waters. So the next week's episode will be passed on to the next
Week.
We'll be late.
week.
We're skipping a week.
We're
We'll be late.
skipping a week. Yeah.
So you've got plenty of time to watch Battle Royale.
Plenty of time to watch Battle Royale. I kind of want to go watch it like right now because
I know, I'm
I
so
love
intrigued.
Japanese horror movies. They're so
Yeah.
good.
yeah, the other one I was gonna pick was a Spanish one, so it was like between that one, and I was like,
Mine is a Spanish one.
What is it?
let me tell you what it was.
Shut up. I'm not saying that.
No, we can cut this part out.
No, it's not mine.
I've never
Okay.
heard of it.
I remember liking it when it came out. It has a high score on Rotten Tomatoes, so I'm guessing it still holds up.
I've never heard
Mine's
of it.
next though, so I don't have to worry about someone taking mine. So
Lauren's next.
mine is. I'm next.
You're next. Oh, and then I go after you, and then Lauren.
Yes.
Y'all already know what I'm gonna pick.
I already know
Yeah,
you're picking
bitch.
Yeah, I know
Gonjiam.
you're picking Gonjiam.
Fuck you, because I showed that movie to all of you.
I know it. I love you so much for it. I've traumatized
My
so many
God
people
damn
by
it.
being like, you know what, you should watch. And then they'll text me later and they're like, fuck you.
Fuck you.
It's
Yeah,
so scary.
I wasn't thinking about it until like when we were finally like, okay, it's foreign. I was like, oh my God, like I feel like we've watched a lot of like,
There's
you know,
so
like
many.
Wreck, Train to Busan,
Good Night
Martyrs.
Mommy
It's like,
was good.
yeah, there's a lot
You
of
could
ones
pick
that we've-
Goodnight Mommy. I'll watch that
I
again.
don't know if I feel passionately enough about it.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of
It's
just like
I've
good,
seen-
but it's hard to watch. I also feel like there's not that much to talk about.
yeah,
not that
it's
much
like
happens.
it's one that
Yes.
it's like I like it, but it's not like here's a riveting
yeah.
conversation.
I've seen a lot of Japanese horror films and a lot of like Korean horror films. So I was like, I have an arsenal.
That- I don't know what it is in Asia, but they're like, you want to be scared, and
They
I'm
do be
like,
fucked
back
up in the
off,
head over
back
there.
off.
Yeah,
I'm so
yes.
scared.
It's like I almost picked the one Miss Collin because the American one sucks, but the Japanese one scares the crap out of me.
And then there's like obviously there's like The Ring
One
and The
is called-
Grudge in the Japanese versions,
One
but
is called.
I've seen them both in the Japanese. I don't like them as much.
I didn't like the Ring that much. There's parts of the Grudge that scared the crap out of me. I was like,
We close out the episode and then talk about this.
oh yeah, sorry.
Oh right.
That's your job, Kirsten.
All right, so next time we see you, we're gonna watch Battle Royale. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.